Hey, what's the deal? Miss your boy Tag from Pro Wrestling Tag. You know what I mean? As of this recording, it is 2:13 p.m. July 4th, 2026. Happy Independence Day and happy 250 as well. You know what I mean? I was not going to make a video. But I figure, you know what? I seen a report on X. Oh yeah, let me mention one more time, happy Independence Day, to everyone. Hope you guys be safe and, in Independence Day, what I mean? I hope y'all eat hamburgers and hot dogs and all that. See the fireworks. I will be seeing the fireworks tonight. Just want to mention that. But I seen a report last night on Twitter, right? On X. I still call it Twitter. I don't give a fuck. That is very questionable, right? And I had to bring this up because WRKD, right? WRKD is very, very spotty when it comes down to news reports. I don't know if this is one person feeding information. I don't know. And this was somebody else who, remember, they was affiliated with somebody else who was, who I think was a mole for WWE at the time, just giving reports. I think they said one person might have been Mick Foley. I'm not sure. But they came, or whoever this person is, said something very interesting that's very confusing to me, right? And it's about talent. It's about like higher talent on the main roster, having a power struggle. Right, it's very confusing. I'm going to read exactly what was said via e-wrestling news, right? So this is what it says. A new backstage report suggests that a growing power struggle is developing among several of WWE's biggest stars as they compete to maintain their positions at the top of the company's hierarchy. According to a report from WRKD Wrestling, multiple high-profile talents are engaged in an ongoing battle behind the scenes to protect their status as WWE's premier attractions. The report indicates that the company continuing to build around a select group of main event stars. No, the reports that with the company continuing to build around a select group of main event stars, there have been increasing competition over creative direction, television time, marquee matches, and positioning on main event pay-per-views, right? And then it also says, while backstage competition among elite performers have long been a part of the wrestling business, the latest report suggests that tensions have intensified as several established names and rising stars vie to secure their place at the top of the WWE roster, end quote. So I take that as a couple folds, right? I take that as one. Competition is great. Competition is great because, everyone has to step up their game, right? Everyone has to step up their fucking game. I mean, Sami Zayn is champion. And you know what? I think I'm going to eat my words from a video I did yesterday because it does seem like maybe Sami Zayn might lose that. He might lose the WWE Championship on Monday night. You know what I mean? Cody and Jey Uso actually had a one-on-one match to determine who would face Sami Zayn at Chicago. In Chicago on Raw on Monday, right? And it does seem like, and this is fucked up. It's real fucked up that Sami Zayn loses the WWE Championship to Cody so that they could start a program with Punk. I think it's fucking dumb, but I think that's what's going to happen. My words are probably going to be eaten up, right? Now, this is, okay, so one fold in that is competition is great, okay? Competition is great. Because again, you built up other talents to make themselves better, right? But they said a select group of stars, right? So the select group of stars, we know who we're talking about. The Punks, the Reigns, the Cody Rhodes of the world. You know what I mean? The Brock Lesnar's and such, right? They said a select group, right? Basically the ones that are the most attractive to the eye of the viewer, right? Of the viewer, the Gunters and such, right? But then, what about the others that's just right above, right? The mid-cards, right? Like the Dominic Mysterios and the LA Knights, you know, I don't want to, Braun Breaker to me is, he's definitely at the top of the card, but I think, you know, Oba is also there too. I think Oba Femi is clearly there at the top of the card. I mean, Jesus Christ, this motherfucker won King of the Ring. You know what I mean? And, you know, he's eligible for a title shot. He's eligible for, you know, a world title shot, right? But of course, he's going to face Brock at SummerSlam in Hell in a Cell, right? But what about the other guys, right? Like I said, this to me, because they said well-established stars. So I don't think they're talking about Punk or shit like that, because Punk basically has nothing. He has nothing, you know, like he has nothing to prove. He's already an established star. Punk is an established star. Cody's an established star. Roman Reigns is an established star, right? Those guys are established stars, okay? But Brock also. So why the fuck would these people fight to maintain their spot in terms of being on television and being used creatively? If you see these motherfuckers every single time on TV, it just doesn't make sense. There's something in that report that doesn't make sense. You know, there's something there. Either this has to do with, like I said, the mid cards, or there's probably people bitching and moaning right now who are complaining about not getting TV time or not being put in a better spot, and so on and so forth. That's the thing that I get. Because you see a lot of these motherfuckers there. I mean, like I said, Sami Zayn. Right? Sami Zayn is right now, you know, WWE champion. Who, by the way, he had a funny ass video on Twitter, right? He was in the park and he was pushing his son, you know, in the swing, and then like on the other side, he was pushing the WWE championship belt with the other swing. That shit was funny. Yo, hold on real quick. Hold on. Yeah, sorry about that. This shit was just noisy and stuff. But yeah, that shit was funny. But you know, as I'm also thinking about this too, about this report too, they also didn't mention if this was only towards the men or both the men and the women. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of women in that roster that, you know, that needs to be, you know, on a better spot. You know, and you know what's funny? You want to know something funny about people's arguments about WWE, right? Like, yeah, they'll find time for you on television. They'll find time for you on big shows like a Raw and SmackDown, as opposed to fucking Dynamite, where, you know, like they got such a big roster that it's hard to determine, you know, when you'll see these motherfuckers next on television and shit. You know what I'm saying? Nick Aldis is coming back. Like, what do you put? I mean, he must be considered a top established star if he's being positioned in a program with Gunther. You know what I mean? Royce Keys, right? He's not struggling for TV time. WWE knows what they have in Royce Keys. Okay? Jacob Fatu. They know what the fuck they got in Jacob Fatu. Finn Balor. Tama Tonga. They know what the fuck they got with these people. Right? So, who the fuck is really, who is really in a power struggle here? Or is this WRKD putting bullshit out? Just for the sense of traffic for their Twitter account. I don't know. I think, I'm going to go with the latter because I don't see no power struggle, none of that shit. None of it. I mean, none of it. What about AEW? What about All Elite Wrestling? Nobody ever speaks about AEW's, backstage concerns. Nobody. AEW's, their roster is thick. Their roster is very thick. You know what I mean? Their roster is so thick that, it's ridiculous. Their roster is just as thick as, let me see, who the fuck can I compare? They're just as thick as Ice Spice's booty. They're just as thick as that. You know what I mean? They're just as thick. To the point where you got no room for 2 shows? Come on. And then Ring of Honor? Come on. Come on, bro. I don't believe the story that WRKD put out. Because I think it's pure bullshit. Because again, you try to dissect who's in a power struggle. Who's in a fucking power struggle. And yes, I did see a report about CM Punk having a minor issue with WWE, in his match at WrestleMania this past, the last couple of months, right? Yes, I did see that, right? But I don't think that's a determinant factor on, a power struggle. I don't think so. That had a lot to do with, something personal. I think with his wife AJ and, what happened with the fans and such, So I don't want to hear anything about, WWE has, there's people right now who's bitching about spots. That's bullshit. That's complete fucking bullshit. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. But y'all can keep it going. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can keep on, with your lies and everything. And y'all keep letting WWE do their thing. Anyway, guys, I'm about to be out. You know what I mean? I'm going to holler at you. It's hot than a motherfucker out here. You know what I mean? I got my water. It's burning. It's burning. Yo, let me also tell y'all something crazy, right? So I was going to, last night, I even recorded a video of this too. Yo, it was raining like a motherfucker, right? Hold on real quick. Yeah, let me tell y'all something that happened last night, right? This was like around 8 o'clock. Like, it was raining. Like, that shit came down crazy. I'm right there on JC Metro Tech, right, on Myrtle, right? And, on the sides, like, they have stores and such. This right there close to the A train, right? So I'm standing between the buildings and shit. Now, I mean, to get, to get cover, because there's things on top that protects you. Look like scaffolds, but they're not. So there was a lady who was walking and she had an umbrella on. I seen like a huge flash of light up in the sky, like, oh shit, and it was thunder. Yo, the lady looked like she's like her face when she heard the thunder, like, ah! That shit was funny. But anyway, guys, I'm about to be out. I'm gonna holler at y'all tomorrow. So I'm gonna check y'all. Peace.